The Minelab Manticore is a really versatile machine straight out of the box, but there's certain key features you need to know to get the very best out of it. And this is what this 5-part series is all about. How to get the best out of your Manticore new user guide. So let's get started. So let's jump straight into the Manticore interface without overcomplicating things. Remember, this is a new user guide, so I don't think I'll cover the things I don't think are necessary as a new user. So let's get going. You'll see at the top there you have the program you're in, which I'm in the All-Terrain General, and there's a red star next to it, which means I've selected that as my go-to favourite program. Just here we're in multi-IQ. Here is a sensitivity, here is a battery level, depth meter, target ID, top ferrous bar. Now this is used to reject the smaller iron. Bottom ferrous bar, that's for the larger iron, and the centre bar there is your non-ferrous targets, which are our desired targets. So the good targets fall within this bar, the iron targets fall within the discriminated range. As you can see there, I've got it set so the ferrous numbers, the iron numbers, turn red, but we'll talk about that in a little while. Throughout this series you'll hear me referring to ferrous and non-ferrous items, so let's just quickly clear this up if you don't fully understand it. Ferrous is iron, iron is magnetic, and as a rule it's an undesirable target, whereas non-ferrous is non-magnetic, and these are your good stuff like your coins, your gold, your artifacts and things like that. But sometimes the ferrous and non-ferrous paths cross, and that's where you really need to be on your game when it comes to understanding this machine, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. So let's address these side buttons here and here, here and here, and the bottom 3 icons. Starting at the top, we've got the on-off button, which obviously turns the machine on and off. But if you wanted to do a complete factory reset, just hold the button in when you're turning the machine on for about 6 seconds and factory reset will appear. At the bottom here we have the light selector, so we can have display. If we go up further, see this half milk half plain icon? That means your lighting is in automatic. If we go down one more, we've got the keypad illumination. Again, you can see that one's in automatic, and we've got the flashlight. So if we press it to the right button, the flashlight will illuminate on the front of the machine. Left is for off. So let's just demonstrate this automatic lighting. At the top there's a lighting sensor, and that can tell the machine how to set the light. So as it gets darker, the light dims, and then it senses light and the light obviously gets brighter. The top right here is to switch on and pair your Bluetooth headphones, and this one here is to toggle between your favourite programs. For example, because I've got a red star there, the All-Terrain General is my favourite program, but if I was to use another program, I just hit that and toggle between my last used program. As you can see there, I was in the fast program, press it again, it goes back to my favourite program, toggle it again. So what I'm saying here, you can toggle between 2 different programs, providing one of them's your favourite program. So how do we set this program to a favourite? Well, that's really simple. Hit the cogwheel, go down to the program, and exactly the same as what we did to reset it, hit that, go up, and you can see it's my favourite program. Now I've deselected it and the little star's gone. Favourite program, the little star's back, and it really is as simple as that. And there's a really quick shortcut key to the soft keys. All you have to do is press this side button and hold it, and it takes you straight into the soft key menu, so you can quickly access and change the soft keys you so wish. Personally, the only ones I change is that bottom right, which is the noise cancel. So you'll see there we've got the horseshoe icon is lit up, and these ferrous bars are greyed out. So if we activate the horseshoe, these ferrous bars now come into play. Now people think this is an all metal or discrim setting, and I kind of disagree with that. I don't think it is. I think all this does is turn the iron volume on or off. So let's just demonstrate this with a piece of iron. You can hear the iron volume nice and clear. So if I turn the horseshoe off, I've now eliminated the iron volume, but the good targets still come through. So it really is just a case of, do you want to hear the iron buzz by highlighting the horseshoe, or do you want it silent by highlighting the discrimination pattern? I think the term all metal refers to this discrimination bar on the left hand side, but we'll be talking a little bit more in detail about this later on. Moving across one more, we have the cogwheel. Now the cogwheel is used to access the menu, so that's where you want to get into the machine from the surface screen. But we've got another video coming up on that very, very soon, so I don't want to spoil it for you. And if we go across one more, these are our shortcuts. So they're called soft keys. So I've got my soft key set to noise cancel because I use noise cancel a lot. So it's noise cancelled 5. With a multi-frequency machine, there's always going to be a chance you're going to pick up EMI, external electrical interference, from other detectors, power lines and so on. So you will use this quite a lot to find a clean operating channel. Now a little tip here, if you want to force a noise cancel, you can press and hold it, keep going, and it'll find the best channel. So when that number averages out, you just let go of it. So I think probably 2 is the best one to go for. We've got a bit of a problem here. So let's do a rolling noise cancel, see if we can get rid of it. -4, -5, okay. Hey, perfect. Going back to this center icon, our target ID, we can tell the depth or the size of the target purely by its opacity. So a shallow target will have quite a high opacity. A deeper target will have less opacity to the dot. Not all targets are textbook targets like the dot in the middle. Some targets will give a horizontal or vertical smudge depending on target orientation, ground mineralization, depth, nearby contamination, the list goes on. So if you get a target smudge, it's the machine telling you something's not quite right, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's ferrous. So sometimes you have to understand what the smudge does in order to determine whether to dig or not to dig. We're getting the red line underneath the target ID, but look at the cursor. It's saying yeah, but no, but yeah, but no. And there's that smudge. It's telling us it's a digger, but She's not a coin. Well, she could be a coin on edge. We've got two cursors, but we've got two confident cursors, haven't we? Look at that. So you can actually separate the two targets. Now, as you get a little bit more advanced with the Manticore, you can learn how to manipulate these rejected areas by using keyframes. But I think as a beginner, just keep it factory defaults, dig a few targets, get used to the sounds, get used to the machine, and then later on in this series, we can progress into some more detailed adjustments. Here we go, little low one, Paul. 13, 12. Look at that tiny little hammered, believe it or not. Hammered? Tiny little hammered. Oh, mate. Look at that. Target conductivity. We can tell the conductivity of a target, whether it be high conductor or low conductor, by using this non-ferrous bar along the middle. So let's start with a low conductive target. Can you see it's right at this side? So we've got a mid-conductive target in the middle and a high conductive target. And you can hear the tones changing as well because we've got it set up with a different tone ID. So pay attention to this. Don't walk away from the low conductors because they're your small coins and perhaps pieces of jewellery. But also take a look at this discrimination bar down the end here. I think that's quite aggressively set. So we're going to be talking about changing that later on in the series. Sensitivity, this is where people make a lot of mistakes with a Manticore because it really does have way too much power, probably more power than you'll ever need. And they turn the sensitivity up thinking they're going to get more depth, but what they're doing is really introducing false signals. So when you're out in the field, just set the sensitivity at a sensible level. I tend to run mine between 18 and 20 in the general program, and that works pretty well on most of my sites. So moving down, we've got the up, down, right and left keys. They're pretty much self-explanatory, but at the bottom there we've got the pinpoint button. And you can see it greying out as you get closer to the target. But another thing I find interesting about the pinpoint, it does give quite a good target ID. So if I'm pinpointing a piece of iron, it goes red, but if I'm pinpointing a non-ferrous target, it gives an accurate target ID. So that's quite a good little feature. Congratulations, you survived part 1 of this 5-part Minelab Manticore new user guide. Now in part 2, we'll be covering the factory programs and how you can choose the best factory program to maximise your finds. You don't have to wait because it's coming up on the end screen right now.